Hi, you're very welcome to this the CIT 260 final presentation. I am Dan Ortega, and today we're going to talk about the following topics, right? Static variables, arrays, array lists, and enums, basic for loops, runtime errors, streams, and how to write character data and a game demonstration, right? For the first one, when it comes to static variables and methods, we will come here to our game, and I've created this individual file to run this example, right? For this, we will talk about this location class, right, that has two kind of variables. One is the static one, and the other one is the regular private or instance variable, right? For this example, right here, we were going to create a new instance of location, right? We're going to set first the row, which is the static variable, and then the column, which is a non-static variable. And we will then create a new method, a brand new method, which is location2, and then we will print out on the screen all the attributes, the row and column for the second location, right? And with this, we will see right here that the row is number 3. It has the value of 3, and the column has the value of 0, right? Why does it have for the row the value of 3? It is because this is a static variable which belongs to the class and not to the instance. Since we set it this variable from the location1, and it is a static variable that belongs to the class, right? So it is also going to be reflected on this second object or location and any other object that might have been created before as well of the location type, right? So that's what we've done, and that's what happens here, right? When it comes to methods, we will realize here that for the reverse sync control, we'll have two methods. One is for the, getting the river depth, and the other one is for to set the river depth. For the first one, right, we should call it from the instance that we have created here, right? Like get river depth, and it is going to work, right? But for the second one, which is a static method, I cannot do this. I cannot call it from the instance, right? Since that's definitely not going to work, right? That's even going to give me an error, right? But if I call it from the actual class, right, that is going to even, let's say, um, show me the option to use that method. It is because it must be called from referencing the class and not the instance, since it is a static method, right? When it comes then to um, arrays, array lists, and enums, right, we'll come first here to our GitHub, and we will have here an enum, which is scene type, right? And an enum is a class that allows you to have, let's say, an array, right, of data, but it is going to be a fixed size, right? And it is also going to be of fixed or final values that you're not able to modify. You're not able to modify the size. That's why you only have a getter method here, and you're not going to be able to modify the attributes or the values, right? But when it comes to arrays, we have here another example here in our game control where we were creating actors, right? We will have an array. An array is, let's say, a list of fixed size, right? You're not able to modify the size, but you're able to modify the values, right? You're able to set or also get, of course, all the values on that, but you're also able to delete, let's say, some some objects within this array, right? But if you, let's say, since this is an array of 5 items, right? If you want to add a sixth item, you won't be able to do it. If you try to reference a sixth, let's say fifth position or a sixth object, you will get a null pointer exception, right? But that's not the case with, let's say, array list, right? With array list, let's say we're going to have an example here with another list of actors, right? And we are going just to show what this has right here. It says that this array list has a length of 0 and has, let's say, empty actors, right? But we're going to create a new actor, which is going to be called test1, and we're going to actually add it with this add method to the actors array list, right? And then we'll see what happens, right? We will come here and we'll realize that it has also now this array list has a length of 1 and it has values or objects in the actors array list, right? Which is just one actor called test1, right? But if I also use this delete method or remove, right? Removing the item in index position number 0, and then I will try to show what's happened with that array. We'll realize that then it was empty at the beginning, then we added an actor, but since we remove it, it's gone back to its original state, right? With let's say size of 0, right, and no actors within it. So that's what happened with array list. That's the advantage, that you're able to resize that and also able to modify and all that, right? When it comes to a basic for let's say loop, in order to iterate through an array, we could come here to our map control, where we're actually we will have this method right here in order to assign scenes to locations. So we will come with all the locations in the map, right? In our map that we brought here, and for that location, which is an array, a bidimensional array, right, of locations, right? We're going to iterate with this index, which is I, as long as this I value, which is measured with an integer, is less or smaller than the length of the location's, let's say, row, right? We're going to increment each time that we pass right there. And for each row, we'll have to go through each column, right? With this basic for loop based on the length of that row, as we see here the relation as it is highlighted, right? And for each location, then we're going to set a scene based on the scene type, which was the enum that we were looking at here, right? And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to set it as we loop through the array of locations, right? That's it. So we're going to talk now about throwing, propagating, and catching runtime errors. For this, we'll have from this same example that this assigns scenes to locations throws a map control exception, which is a class that we created here, customized exception class, right? And since it throws this, it is going to be propagated by the class that was, or by the method that was calling that assign scenes to location, which was the create map, right? And create map also is going to propagate here the map control exception, right, up to the create new game, right? And create new game is also going to propagate this exception app, right? Since it will do with exceptions, since it also handles game control exceptions, right? So this create new map also throws back or propagates this to the start new game method, right? And the start new game method is going to propagate it up to the do action in the main menu view, which is going to catch that exception and handle that with our customized error view class that will allow us to print on the screen and lock to a file, right? So that's what we do for throwing, propagating, and catching runtime errors, right? As we see here. When it comes to character streams versus byte streams, we know that character streams support Unicode. Um, that way, it is able to support, let's say, many more languages that a single byte stream that only supports the ASCII, let's say, format, right? Which only supports English, French, German, and Spanish, and some other Western languages, right? That's why Java later came up with the character streams, right, that allow you to handle more data, right? This byte stream is mainly used for, let's say, writing and sending information through a network or something like that. But it is better to work with character streams when it comes to working with text or things like that, right? We are going to show how to write character data right here. We have in our supplies control class, just let me find my mouse. In our supplies control class right here, we created some items, right, for the game, right? In our game menu view, we had a method to generate a report. And in that report, when we were creating that, we open up a print writer, right, based on the file path that we asked the user. And what we do here is that we each supply in this array of supplies to print it on a file, on the file that we created based on a certain format, right? With this, I'm creating a new line and giving format to each column that I'm printing here of each type of the of each supply in the supplies to print array, right? So that's going to print and that's it. So we're going to have a quick um, example for game working right here, which is the last point of our presentation, right? Our game demonstration. Our game starts, let's say, asking for a name, but I'm just producing an error here, another error here, but I'm just going to enter my name, right? So it welcomes us. Then we're going to start a new game, right? And when we start a new game, it asks for rows and columns. We're going to create a map of 3 rows and 3 columns, right? If I come here to view the map, it is just going to show me the map as I created, right? So what we are able to do here, let's say just as an demonstration of our game, we're going to look for miles traveled per day, right? So it is going to ask me, it is going to use the average health of the team, and it is also going to use the oxen strength, but it is asking me for that, for me to enter that. And then also it uses the total weight of the wagon, right? Based on that information, it calculates from the control the total miles traveled per day, and it shows that I'm just going to, let's say, quit here, and I'm just going to save that this game to a file. I'm going to say it is to game 1, right? It is right here saved, right? And with that game saved, that was a 3 by 3 map. I'm just going to start a new game here. Oh, sorry, new game here with 7 bytes. But if I quit this game and open the one that I already saved, which was, I'm just going to produce an error first. It doesn't exist. But if I try to open game 1, let's see. Oh, sorry. Game. Okay, it is game 1, right? It is going to bring me to the main game menu, right? And if I show the map, it will show that it is the actual game that I created at first, right? I'm also going to print a report of supplies right here. on the supplies report file, right? So it was printed. And I'm just going to show here that we quitted the game. It says, but the supplies report was generated, right? And we are able to see it here, right? And that's it. That's pretty much everything about our game. And we also have here the log of our errors, right? That we created during this game. It was my pleasure. Just thank you for watching. And it was really my pleasure to enjoy this semester at CIT 260. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.